Kind of sounds like you were traumatized by maybe your old job or something.
Not really traumatized, it's just like, I feel like I want to touch some grass.
You could always bring some grass inside and just touch it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just put
have some fake ones, like.
Yeah.
Oh, Eric does that. Yeah, look
It's
at
fake.
Eric.
It's for Mikey. Yeah. What's up, KoreKara squad? Welcome back to the podcast. So this week we talked to LivaKivi again. In the last podcast, you might know him as the Duolingo guy. He was the guy who studied Duolingo for 3 years and wasn't able to become fluent in Japanese. On his channel, he talks about a lot of different hobbies that he's interested in. And so in this podcast, we talk more about his passion for learning things in general, his YouTube channel, and what he plans for his future.
But you guys know the drill. It's time to go and absolutely destroy the like button. So smash that real quick and give us a follow on Twitter. Hope you guys enjoy the podcast.
Besides from learning Japanese, like what other stuff have you been learning? Because like on your channel, you talk about a lot of different hobbies that you've had and a lot of like different things you're pursuing.
Oh yeah, I guess I'll just start from the earliest thing I can remember. Well, not that early, but I guess the first thing that I really started learning myself independently was video editing. Then, you know, just multimedia stuff like graphics design or like those kinds of stuff that are required for making YouTube videos essentially, like Photoshop and whatnot. And I guess then I started learning programming at one point. One of the branches of programming was machine learning or AI or deep learning type stuff. Then I have touched game dev a little bit. Then I learned Russian a little bit independently, a total of like 100 days or something. That's when I started learning Japanese as well. Oh yeah, drawing as well. I guess I started learning that. Those are the main things that I'm learning, I suppose. Everything else is like just learning through experience. I do plan on like learning new video editing software and stuff like that as well in the near future.
Do you think you would want to do YouTube as a career? Like, are you working on it full time right now?
I wouldn't say that I'm working on it full time because I'm just using YouTube as a means to share what I'm doing on the side, pretty much. Like I'm just making videos about the type of stuff that I'm doing aside from YouTube. So for example, learning Japanese and whatever. I definitely do like doing YouTube and I would like it to be a quote-unquote career because I just always come back to it. Like I said, I've had 3 channels. Even though I've had long periods where I don't make any videos, I always come back to it. I had a pretty long period between like before I made this channel where I didn't make any videos for years or made like one short video a year or something. I always just came back in the sense that, man, I wish I could make some videos right now. Like I have all this experience and this the video editing software knowledge that I've learned, and I feel like I'm not using it at all. And then it's like I wish I could, and that would be cool, I suppose. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that I won't get tired of YouTube for a pretty long time.
It's like you're relapsing on YouTube. Like, oh, I need that YouTube right now. Quick, upload the video.
Yeah, well, it's not really about like uploading the video. It's more like about making the video, I suppose, like for me. So it's like I have some idea, I want to realize it or actualize it, and it's like satisfying to have something finished, I suppose. Like that's the thing I really like about YouTube, which is that like every video is basically a project. They can be, you know, however long you want them to be. You can be like, one video can take like, let's say 1 month or a few weeks or even 1 day. But I feel like when I finish a video, then it feels like I can start fresh every single time. Some things are not really that simple in the sense that, for example, some tech project like coding project might be endless. I didn't really get satisfaction at finishing coding issues at a company because like it's like, okay, I fixed this bug, now I just have to work on the next bug to fix and stuff like that. It's like I don't really find that satisfying. But making my own short-term projects, which like I finish them and I never have to touch them again and they're just there. That's what I really like about YouTube, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that's also why you see a lot of people like quit their jobs to do YouTube, because it's more fulfilling.
Definitely more fulfilling.
Are there any like other subjects or hobbies that you haven't explored yet that you think you'll like start learning?
Yeah, definitely are. Like I feel like one of the issues for me is that I have too many things I wanna do but not enough time. It's like I'm really happy that it's like that for me, because I'd much rather have that than have nothing I want to do and too much time. But I would like to use my drawing skills, which I don't have right now, to like do animation perhaps. Like would be nice to make my own anime or something, but I don't know how I'm going to do that alone. But I definitely want to do more game development. I did make a video about it, which was basically me saying that game development is really hard. If there's like any other hobby that I'd like to work on, then I don't really know, but maybe something that doesn't involve the computer to some extent, because like if everything you want to do is on the computer, you really are just stuck in front of the screen all day, which kind of sucks in some ways.
Kind of sounds like you were traumatized by maybe your old job or something.
Not really traumatized. It's just like I feel like I want to touch some grass, and I just can't do it because I have to like work on the computer, I suppose.
Right.
Hey, I mean, you could always bring some grass inside and just touch it.
Yeah.
Just have some fake ones, like.
Yeah.
Oh, Eric does that. Yeah, look at
fake.
Eric.
It's for Mikey. Yeah. Do you think you'll go back to like working at a company, for example? Now that you have a lot more like control of your schedule.
Honestly, I hope I won't. I only will if I have to, or maybe I don't know. Maybe in like 10 years or something, I'll want to for some reason. But right now, it's like when I quit my job, like the full-time job where I went to the office and stuff. The issue for me was like, even if I would have gotten a promotion, let's say, and made much more money or something, I've come to the realization that doesn't motivate me at all. I would have been just as burnt out and most likely would have still quit. Right now as well, it's like I did a freelance job some time ago, and it was just like, it was really short, and the salary was good for me. Like it wasn't super high or anything, but it was like much more than I had earned before, and it was like it was only going to take like 2 weeks or something, and already on the first day I was like, oh my god, I fucking hate this shit. I really just don't want to do this at all. I just want to work on learning Japanese or making videos or whatever.
So would you say it's like the nature of the job, or just because it's like somebody telling you have to do this right now?
I think it's just the fact that somebody's telling me that I have to do it, because I tried learning video editing in school as well. Like it was one of the motivations why I went to a specific school that does touch that subject, and I was pretty excited for that. And literally on the first day of the class, I was like, man, I hate this. Suddenly, I just hate video editing. It's just the fact that I'll have to do things that are not controlled by myself, essentially. So I have to like make a project that's not mine, essentially. So it's like I have less freedom with it. I have no satisfaction if I make it, like finish it, and so on, I suppose. Honestly, if like I was given a choice, I'd rather do some physical labor than coding for a job.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started learning Japanese like my final year of college, and it was like programming. I was like taking this like AI class and like
I see.
make like a neural net and stuff, and I was just like, oh my god, like learning Japanese is way easier than this. It's like you just have to memorize the words and stuff. So like when Japanese people are like, oh, Japanese is so hard, I'm like, no. You just have to memorize words.
Maybe what you got to do is like every time they say that, you just got to have the neural network class like documentation
look at this.
right there.
Look at this. This is hard. This is easy.
Learning a language, like learning Japanese, it's not complicated. It's really linear. It just takes a lot of time, basically.
That's what like drew me to it, because of like all those years of just like banging my head on the computer trying to figure out like how to like solve these like coding problems. And then like, Japanese is like, it's a solved problem. All I have to do is do Anki every day.
Honestly, I think there is some level of the reason why people will say that learning Japanese or learning Chinese is like difficult. I remember even in Russian class in school, like, I don't know, 10 years ago or something, I remember the teacher said like, come on, this is Russian, it's not Chinese, it's not that hard. I feel like the thing that it comes from is not the fact that it's learning a language, it's just the way schools teach languages. So it's like they focus on grammar output so early on. So if people start learning Chinese and it's so different, then they somehow have to use math in their head to, output in Chinese for exams, I suppose. Like, I suppose that's where it comes from. But yeah, I feel like if you learn it the way most people learn with Anki and stuff, then it's just really linear and really simple. It's just takes time.
I think on that topic of how language learning is not necessarily a difficult problem to solve. I mean, it's something that I feel like we just like we mentioned, we hear it all the time. But I guess what is something that you think is, because I guess it's very streamlined, right? And would you say it's like that for anything else you're learning?
Drawing, perhaps. I feel like drawing is one of those things which is like, I feel like there's quite a lot similar in language learning and drawing. Like, I feel like there is this thing called the visual library when it comes to drawing. So, for example, imagine drawing a lion or something. The first time you do it, you have to look at the reference like 100,000 times because you keep forgetting what the lion looks like in terms of the detail. But when you do it enough times, you eventually start being able to basically when you draw a line, you already see where the next line has to be, or like how the line has to curve for it to start looking like a realistic lion, I suppose. So I feel like drawing is pretty similar to learning a language in that aspect, I suppose. Another thing as well, I think programming, in a way, like programming languages, it's a little bit different because programming requires some level of quote-unquote early output because you're typing the code. But I feel like there's this thing which a lot of coders at first experience, which is that they understand how the code works, but they feel like they could never write the code themselves. And I feel like it's similar to getting input but not having like the recall ability, or like, but it's a little bit different. But I feel like there is some overlap in terms of learning a new, or like learning programming logic and learning a language, but I don't know.
You know what's coming, LivaKivi. You've been here before. You've done what you had to do. And I know right since you did the last KoreKara message on the last time you're on the KoreKara podcast, you're thinking about the next KoreKara message for the next KoreKara podcast. So
yeah, I'm already thinking about it.
On this, yeah, of course. I mean, that's what everyone in the world is thinking about with their message to the KoreKara squad. So you're in a lucky position here, LivaKivi. You have done it. You've gone on the KoreKara podcast 2 times now. So what is your second KoreKara message to the KoreKara squad?
All right. Well, to the KoreKara squad, I just gotta say that always think for yourself. Like, before you give other people authority over your own actions, always think for yourself. Try to think why you're doing what you're doing. Like, are you doing what you're doing because you think that it's the right thing to do, or are you just doing it because someone else said that it's the right thing to do, or some community thinks that it's the right thing to do? Especially with language learning, everyone has like really different conditions and circumstances in which they are, and things that motivate them to learn a language. So you really gotta think for yourself there. What are your own goals and why you're doing what you're doing? And that's my message.
Hey guys, thanks for making the end of the podcast. Comment down below if you follow LivaKivi.
But real quick, guys, I want to go shout out our patrons: Cedric, Roy, Faraz, Kevin, Allen, Darren, Drew, Jack, Joey, K, Shnani, M, Meredith, MKSXN, Polis, Suzu, Yui, Sadboy, and Brave vs. Japan. Thanks, peace.